Hey everybody, my name is Jax Austin and I am the owner of a 2003 E450 with a 7.3 liter engine, 30 passenger school bus. On the outside of this, you may not really know what's going on. This is all one giant sticker essentially. It's a vehicle wrap. Up on top I have 320 watts of AM solar. I have this nice lawn up here, which I call Milan. It just sounds fancier than it is. So in the back we have a tankless on-demand propane water heater with a nice shower head. Down below we have a horizontal RV style propane tank. So inside under the bed is 46 gallons of fresh water for the shower. And here's a little input, so it's really handy. You know, you just hook up your hose, you fill it full of water, and you got yourself, I don't know, at least 20 showers. When I started this thing, I had no idea whatsoever how to build anything. I didn't know any mechanics, so really it's just you learn as you go with these things. So we got a special meetup today. I'm doing a collab with Forrest Stevens, also known as Forrest the Filmmaker.
What's up, guys?
The other one was a tongue twister.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, guys? It is Forrest the Filmmaker. I'm sorry to interrupt your program, but I'm trying to be a good boy and pay my bills this month. So I'm doing a 1-minute review and infomercial for the Mad Hat product. This is an inflatable lounger. Let's check it out. Have you ever been outside and gotten tired? Well, there's something for that. This is an inflatable lounger. It comes with its own stuff sack, a couple pegs, and it's really simple to set up, and you'll be relaxing in no time. Make sure to use those pegs if it's windy, otherwise this will happen. Also, after getting air in it, make sure that you roll it over a couple times to create a nice airtight seal. Otherwise, this'll happen. Side effects may include, but are not limited to, walking around in a circle, running in a straight line, running in a straight line again, extreme lounging, not wanting to move, spending more time horizontal, literally not wanting to move, more naps, getting a sunburn, feeling like you're floating on a cloud, really not wanting to move. Thanks for watching, everyone, and it is back to the video that you clicked on.
Welcome to Dan the Adventure Bus. Basically this is a mobile man cave. It is a reclaimed wood production studio. This right here used to be a barn rafter. This wood is sourced out of Utah. This was a 16-foot barn rafter. We cut it, we glued it together, we put some lacquer on it. I have a sink here which is connected to 7-gallon water containers down below. Actually, I never even use the thing. I get a lot of people asking me, Jax, where do you go to the toilet? What about if you gotta go to the bathroom? And so I created what I call the dump trunk. So obviously I'm not gonna open this because you know what it is, it's a toilet. But this is a self-contained porta potty. It was super cheap. It was like 130 bucks US, and I would love a composting toilet, but I also love having $1,000 in my pocket. If you gave me $1,000, I would buy an electric skateboard before I bought a composting toilet. I promise you. Obviously, this is my bed. The most comfortable bed I've ever slept on in my life is a memory foam mattress. Yoga Bed is a brand. You could get any other brand. They're pretty similar, I would say, but it is so freaking nice. In one of my previous jobs, I would, be up super late, and so I wouldn't get enough sleep. It would affect my next day. It would affect the way my mood and everything. So having a good night's rest is essential for me. So this, I'm so stoked to have this. It's awesome. Also, you should get a shot of the electrical system I have in here. It's a little messy on that side, but I have USB ports along with regular household outlets. And that for me is super clutch because, if I have friends or if you need to charge your phone or multiple devices, for me, YouTube is work. So I'm always editing, always have electronics to charge up. So, so that's what we got. I didn't really think I was gonna cook a lot. So that's why I didn't install a permanent stove situation. But really, I use a stove way more than I use a sink. And if I did this over, I would prefer to have a stove to a sink. So I have a camping stove, which I like to take outside because obviously it's nice to cook outside, dining al fresco. But yeah, it's a pretty simple setup. I also have a fridge down here. This is fridge number 2. It's just a cheap hardware store fridge. I had one of them go out. I took it back after like a year of having it. I got another one like for free. So that's the one thing about having like the cheap fridges from like the big box, stores. Like you can do that kind of stuff. If you had like a proper like DC fridge, you can't do that, but it's way better. Like you should have a DC, fridge. So underneath here, this is where the power is. A Lifeline 255 amp hour battery. It charges from 320 watts of solar up top, but it also charges off of the alternator. So I get a 30 amp current charge with this little thing right down there called a battery combiner. And it's like 50 or 60 bucks. It's a steal of a deal. If you guys travel a lot like I do, you probably don't even need to invest in solar. You could probably get away with that, and it would be way cheaper because solar panels run about $1 a watt, and the charge controller is like $300 or $400. So with solar panels and one of these, you could be close to $1,000, or you could run some wires off the alternator and spend like 60. So it just depends what your, what your lifestyle is. We have some recessed lighting. This was something I really wanted when I was thinking about the build, when I had these inspiration bus screenshots from Instagram. I was like, I want those hidden lights, that hit the ceiling. So that was a pretty simple thing. It's just LEDs that you get at the hardware store. And then I hid some wiring for the rear stoplights and stuff in the middle of this. And this is just a cedar tongue and groove with a propane torch to make it look a little bit, more rustic, I guess. I just have these like white blackout curtains, super simple, just custom, measured and cut and everything like that. So by the way, this is Dan, and this is Dan the Adventure Bus. This is my late uncle. And I just actually realized the correlation of this. This is my library, and Dan was a huge reader, so it just kind of makes sense that he's right next to the library, because his house used to have thousands of books. Like, it was crazy. So I just put that together right now in my head. Like, it was actually a pretty cool place to put him. I'm sure he's happy right there. When everybody comes in the bus, the very first thing they notice and comment is the floors. This is reclaimed hardwood floors from the Northeast. I believe it used to be some kind of barnwood. And the crazy thing is, on the East Coast, they used to have so many hardwood trees, they would make everything out of really nice wood that's super expensive today. So this, I don't know, it could be over 100 years old. These are real saw marks, and this is real hardwood floors, really old. It's not the Home Depot stuff. This is a real deal. If I did a second build, I don't think I would do hardwood floors again. They're just way too fragile. And they're just really not good for water and dirt and people in here, animals, everything can scratch them, which, I mean, it's okay because they're kind of all old and scratched up anyways, but something high traffic, something waterproof, I would probably use in my next build. Everybody uses their phone for everything these days. I thought it would be smart to have a backup system, so I have a DVD, navigation ready, stereo, which is hooked up to 4 6x9 speakers, so we can get this baby cranking. And then under the seat, I have a self-powered subwoofer. So, I mean, I pretty much have everything that you could possibly need in a RV, I guess, and then some. So now we're on the roof. It is just regular old AstroTurf. And the reason I wanted something on the roof was to hang out up here. Obviously, like right now we're chilling, but I didn't know how to build a rooftop deck, and somebody quoted me like $2,000 or $3,000, and the whole bus cost me like $5,000. So I thought, there's no way on earth I'm gonna pay like as much as a school bus just for a deck. So Yeah, I got this $100 piece of AstroTurf. I just used liquid nails, and you know, I think I'm the first person to ever put AstroTurf on a roof, and I hope it catches on because it's super rad and super comfy, and you know, just a fun place to just hang out and soak in this amazing view. Up top I have 2 panels, as you can see. They're 160 watts each, and then they combine together in the middle and go down and charge the whole solar system. So peak amperage in is about 21 amps, so that's a pretty significant amount. But you know, when there's clouds and it rains and stuff like that, they don't really work so well. I figured with the bus it was an all-in-one system. With the bus, it is a place to sleep, it is a place to drive, it's a place to prepare foods, and I knew that it had a certain amount of money for this project. So I just calculated. I was like, okay, if I got rid of motels, if I got rid of a car, if I had no trailer, if I had just stripped everything down and took all my essentials with me, if I had, say, a $50 budget, how long could I go? And so I kind of calculated in advance, like, well, if I spent X amount on the bus and fixed it up, and then, you know, with the gas mileage and everything, I was like, the bus is just the cheapest way to go. You know, it's, even though it does have bad gas mileage, well, I mean, it gets 12 to 16, but even though the gas mileage isn't as great as a car, I never have to pay for anything. I've been on the road for over a year, and I have never paid for a place to park overnight to sleep. Not once. I boondock everywhere. I do, you know, Walmart parking lots, rest stops, truck stops, side of the road, middle of nowhere. My motto is, if nobody's around to care. This whole traveling idea hasn't been a new one for me. The school bus is definitely a new idea for me, but I always wanted to have a job where I was paid to travel, in essence. And I used to watch Anthony Bourdain, and I used to love the shows, and so I thought to myself, like, that would be my ultimate dream job. But those jobs are few and far between, as you know. And you know, I got pretty close to some shows and things like that, but essentially I just got kind of fed up with people saying no, and so I just started to say yes to myself. I took back my personal power. I thought, why leave my fate, my future, for someone else to decide? Well, I'm just going to make the decision and tell myself yes. And so here I am. I'm traveling around the United States, now in Canada. I do mostly daily YouTube videos. I travel everywhere. I'm essentially like on my own travel channel. It just happens to be on YouTube, and it's a great feeling. And I have 100% control, which sometimes is difficult. You know, being if anyone's an entrepreneur watching this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a challenge, but it is so rewarding to be able to do exactly what my heart desires and dreams of, and to enable yourself and trust in yourself that this is something that you can do. And if you are smart with your money and you save up, you can do anything you want to do, as long as you have belief in yourself and in the universe or God or whatever, that it's just gonna work out. If anybody wants to buy a school bus and travel around, I say thumbs up, go for it. Make sure you get the 7.3 diesel. Stay away from the 6.0. But yeah, just save your money, be smart. If you want to do this while you're going to college, you can save a lot of money. If you want to do this while you're working some, you know, job like coffee shop job or bartender or whatever it is in the city as well, like, great, because when you don't make a lot of money and then you have to spend money on rent, it's really hard to save, you know. And so go for it. Get a bus, get a van, live in it, save money, be smart, and then chase your dreams. Now, if you want to do the YouTube thing, that's another story, because that is that's a really difficult thing to pull off, to be able to cover your money with YouTube. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. It's hard. It might be easier to sell stuff on Etsy. I mean, I don't know, like, it's tough. You really got to stick with it.
Cool. All right. That sounds good for the